Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews. Today we have the 2005 Aston Martin DB9. This is an amazing car, and this is all courtesy of Aston Martin New England in Waltham, Massachusetts. I'll include a link to their website in the description box below, as well as the salesman Ben, who's allowing me to look at these cars. Absolutely beautiful car. Loved the wood and the blue leather. Whoever ordered this one knew how to spec a car for sure. Oh, that's why the heated seat's getting warm. I'm like, oh, this is warm.
It's very warm. It's heated seats.
Yeah. So, as you said, this is a torque converter automatic.
Correct.
It's not like the Vantage that was the automated manual.
Correct.
So it doesn't have... Well, it's weird because if you know how to drive the Vantage where you lift between shifts, it's not very jerky at all. It's just something to get used to. It's much more of a manual than using the paddles in this car. But as we've talked about, these cars are on different levels.
They're entirely different purposes.
This is a much more of a grand touring car. I mean, if you do track days, occasional track day, this car will do fine. If you want something a little bit more sport focused, that's where I think the Vantage comes in.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The Vantage is definitely built to give you a much more sporting drive. The DB9 is not going to fall flat on its face if you ask it to be a sporting car, but you, as you've mentioned, you definitely feel the difference between these two cars.
And the Vantage has an amazing sound. Do not get me wrong there, but there is nothing like a V12.
No, there isn't. It's tough to let go of a naturally aspirated V12. I'm thrilled that we have this new generation of engines in the Aston Martins, in the new Vantage, the DB11, the DBS Superleggera, and now the DBX. But there's something very special about a naturally aspirated 6-liter V12 that you get to hear, you know, piston to exhaust, and there's nothing in the way.
Exactly. And for this one's an 05?
05, maybe 06.
For the technology of the gearbox, it's still really good.
It is.
I'm really impressed.
Is. I've driven more modern cars with, you know, flappy paddles and an actual automatic, and that are years old, newer than this, and they don't feel like this.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I wouldn't know that it was an 05 just based off of Gearbox Feel. I gotta love Massachusetts traffic.
God, we're awful.
Then again, I'm a kind of person, I love driving in Boston. I don't know why, I just do.
You're crazy, that's why. No, I don't mind it as long as it's not, you know, Celtics game, Sox game, or rush hour.
Yep.
Any other time.
Like a Saturday morning, beautiful.
Fantastic. Friday after 8 o'clock, surprisingly nice.
Oh yeah, it is.
PM, not AM.
Yeah, AM, oh god. No, and you gotta love the tunnels too.
Oh yeah, we are blessed with some nice tunnels.
Yeah, you are. Manchester, we ain't got nothing.
You have nothing.
I mean, we have some tunnels by the airport, stuff like that, but I mean, nothing like the reverb off of those tunnel walls.
Oh, man.
It's amazing how comfortable this car is. It's a supercar, it has supercar performance for the time, but there's no compromise in it. Visibility's excellent. You have rear seats. They're more usable than the Vantage's rear seats that don't exist.
Yep, that's true.
So, and the fact that you can pick up one of these for $30,000 to $40,000 now is insane to me. I mean, for a museum quality example, you might see 50, 60, 70,000 up there, but I don't know what you guys are listing this one for. This one's probably in the 40s?
I would say, yeah, 40s, maybe 50s.
Yeah, because this is a very well-sorted example.
It's very well taken care of. We've actually known this owner for a very long time.
32,000 miles, which is not a lot for this year of car at all.
It certainly doesn't feel like 32,000
Oh, it does
miles.
not. Drives like a brand new car. And it doesn't drive like one of those.
No.
The Challenger, on the other hand,
Oh, come on. It's a little bit more agile than that. A little bit.
maybe a little bit. Now we getting 95 south?
South.
Yep, got it.
We'll just hit the cloverleaf and double back onto west. East. East. We're going back east.
West.
No, I said east.
I love all the switchgear. Very elegant. All the buttons have a great feel to them. I'm not gonna run the risk of trying to beat this truck.
This is a smart test driver right here.
I'm the kind of test driver that realizes that salesmen have a life that they want to keep.
Yeah, I do. I would love to go home tonight. That would be nice. Not in
Well,
a
you work in
box.
sales, so I don't know how much of a possibility that is.
No, you're right. We'll see what time I get to go home.
I was thinking about doing sales, and I'm like, me being in college and working sales might not work out all that well.
No, I think you'd be a very tired person.
College has me that way anyway, so
Yeah.
just add on.
Yeah, it's all worth it though.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you get to have these cars on, see these from your office window every day. That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Yeah, sales is also worth it. I mean, going to college and being tired of college, that's also worth it. But the sales, 100% worth it. This is, frankly, a dream job. And I feel honored that I get to show up and even become a little jaded about these cars. You come into work every day for 3 years and you see new Vantage, new DB11, DBS, and it's very easy to get, jaded with
cool.
these cars. Oh, wow, fantastic. I gotta sell these things. But it's fantastic to have people who come in and they're excited about the brand, they're excited about the experience, and it's really one of the biggest things that I enjoy in this job is other people's excitement about these cars, because these are, frankly, very special cars.
I'm speechless. That's an amazing sound. For stock exhaust, too. That's the key. It's funny, the gauge goes up to 8, but I think it redlines just shy of 7.
Yes. Yep, it's like 68.
So I think I might have barely touched the limiter there, but
That's okay. Once in a while, it doesn't hurt.
Italian tune-up.
Exactly. It needs it once in a while.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm glad you mentioned getting jaded by these cars and just realizing it's almost become the new normal. Because I have a friend that I bring to a bunch of car shows all over the place. Brady Frost, you know who you are. And I'll see like a Huracan Performante, and I'll be like, oh, cool. And he's freaking out, he's taking pictures. And he's like, why don't you take pictures? I'm like, I've seen so many of them.
I've seen all these cars.
I mean, especially once you drive one, you're like, oh, cool. I mean, if it's a car, like if I see a DB9 now, I'll be like, great choice.
I know what you're doing. I understand now.
Same with the Vantage. If this video seems like I'm going down on the Vantage, I'm absolutely not. You really can't compare them. It's literally comparing oranges to apples.
Yeah, no, they're just different cars.
They're for a different client.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And you may find clients who own both because they do different things with the client.
If they own both, they got it made.
Yeah, they've really got it figured out.
So they're very different cars, but none of them are bad at all.
How do you think so?
I mean, I've had very little before today. I've had very little experience with Aston Martin. I've had a ride in Vantage, and I was not impressed. Driving is a whole different story. This car, Power, Beauty, Soul was the motto at this time. I don't know if it still is. Do they still have that motto?
No, we have a somewhat changed motto, which unfortunately escapes me this morning. I was actually going to go brush up on all my marketing materials today. But Power, Beauty, Soul for the time was our ethos, and it's really made clear by these cars. I mean, they have the power. They are undoubtedly beautiful, and there is a soul that you just don't find in other brands. And I don't want to put down any specific brand because they all have their own excellent qualities. But there's something that is unmistakably Aston that people, regardless of their brand loyalty, recognize once they've had the opportunity to drive one of these cars. It may not be for them, but I've never spoken to a person who's driven an Aston Martin and had them say, wow, what a characterless vehicle. What a boring car.
I've never heard that either. Matter of fact, one of my friends, I drove him down to your dealership, and it was the first time he had seen an Aston up close, and his jaw dropped. They are such beautiful cars. I don't think they've ever made an ugly Aston Martin.
Signet.
Okay, you know what? In the U.S., let's say that.
That's good. Thank
Let's
you.
say that. Because the Signet was just a Scion, what was it, the IQ?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yes, because of emissions, or fuel consumption regulations.
Yep, they met that CAF regulation by incorporating a tiny Toyota. That's okay.
What's funny is that, you're gonna hate me when I say this, I actually kind of liked the little thing. I thought it was kind of quirky and cool.
Oh no, I actually kind of appreciate it. Especially the interior trim. Like the work they did on the interior to make it an Aston Martin was, frankly,
the transformation between the two cars is amazing.
You ever see the Q Commission V8 Signet?
Oh yes, I have. I have heard of that.
Yeah, that's a very very special car.
I love that little whine. That's awesome.
I do too. I love when you get to hear the full mechanics of an engine.
That's why I love my Challenger. It's a very raw feeling car. Is that a left or left here? What's nice is I noticed this in both the Vantage and in this car. If, say, you don't want to downshift, you don't have the time, say you have to slam on the brakes, it will downshift and put it in first for you.
You're good on the... No.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Not my car. I'm not risking it. Trying to maintain a relationship with you guys, not go bad out of hell.
I mean, it would still be a relationship.
Just not a good one.
It would be less positive. Perhaps more,
You come back here no more!
So, let's put that new insurance policy to the test, Jacob.
I mean, I could make a documentary. What happens when dealer insurance gets put to the test? Ooh, an Alpina B7.
Wow, that was unexpected.
I've seen a lot more of those lately. Those are kind of the underappreciated cars. Only car guys really know about them.
I'm right there with you. I really love those cars. Just, personally, not for me. But
right.
It's
for a different kind of person. Absolutely. I mean,
Nice.
it's almost a competitor to the Repeat in a way.
Yes, exactly. I love a sleeper saloon.
Me too. That's why, I love the M5. M5's not as much of a sleeper as like the Repeat's just elegant and beautiful.
Yeah.
But the Alpina B7's definitely a sleeper.
Very much. The old M5 was much more
E39.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Well, even I think the E36 M3 is a sleeper too, because they didn't go crazy with the design like they did with the E46 and E92s.
Exactly. That was a very special era for car design, where it was yes, correct. I appreciated the time when it was like, well, there's a lot of performance in here, but we don't want to market that for you.
Right. That was like late 90s, early 2000s. That was a very cool era for design.
Really
you had... In some design. You had the Mustang.
You had the Eclipse.
Oh.
Just saw one on the highway, and I was like, wow, that did not age well
Fast and Furious didn't help that either.
No. No.
Yeah, that was 2001. So yeah, there was some cars in Fast and Furious where I was young at that time. I'm like, wow, that looks great.
You know what's actually come back to me as an attractive car, and this,
I'm
you
going
don't have
left
to
here.
include this, that's correct. But early Civic hatches?
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I don't,
like the
it hurts me to admit it.
like the I like the untouched ones, like the Civic Type R, like the was it EG hatch?
Yes.
Like the 2001, the Civic Type R.
Man, that thing was
That
handsome.
thing is beautiful.
Yeah, the SI was gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, it was a huge problem with that car, though. That was the first year they switched from double wishbone at all four corners to McPherson fronts.
Oh, so that changed it all.
Yep. So it looked a lot nicer than the original hatch from the 90s, but it handled really poorly, and it was a heartbreaker. Although I really did like when they stuffed the shifter here.
That was cool.
That was very cool. But yeah, there are certain cars out of that era that are, you don't like to admit that you still love them, but you still love them. DB7, that's actually another car that
I think that's underappreciated too.
very underappreciated, and I kind of put it in the same class as Jaguar.
Yes.
Because Jaguar builds cars, and when they come out, you say, good Lord, that's just not an attractive car. And
I
you
thought the
see
same
one-
for the F-Type.
Yeah,
when it first came out.
15 years down the road, and you're like, wow, that aged unbelievably well. Like an XJ6, I want one of those desperately.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous, and I thought they were hideous in the 90s. I hated
What was it?
those
The
cars.
XJ or XKS or whatever it was, the
Oh.
80s? That,
Oh,
like the
God.
very boxy design? That's grown on me a lot.
Yeah, that is aged really well.
Still a very handsome car.
I'm a big fan.
And actually the same was for the 488. First picture of the 488, no.
Nope.
Definitely don't like it compared to the 458. Seeing them in person, side by side, I like the 488. Would I say I like it more than the 458 after driving both? I don't know. They're definitely different eras of cars, but I do appreciate the design of the 488, especially the Pista.
Yeah.
See, talk about boxes. Oh, the minivan blocked it, but like those old.
Oh, that was an original Civic hatch.
Yeah.
Oh, speak of the devil. That was pretty cool. I almost bought one of those in all-wheel drive.
They made all-wheel drive?
Yeah, for like a year in the 80s.
Really?
Yes. I wouldn't own it now that I, have had some time with Japanese all-wheel drive cars, but still super cool.
Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Oh, jeez Louise. What a cool concept. What an awful execution.
Yeah.
I mean, they were cool, and they looked awesome. And then you drove it, and you're like, wow, this is...
Crap.
Yeah.
I actually haven't reviewed many JDM cars on the channel. I definitely am starting to work towards getting that.
It's,
one more time for the power.
Yeah, do it. Oh, man. I think my favorite conversation when I get home from work with my girlfriend is like, she's like, what did you do today? And I love...
I played with Aston Martin.
I got to be driven around in an Aston Martin, various cars, for most of my day.
Wow, that Dodge Journey kept right up with us.
Yo, those things are fast.
I've never driven one, but...
I mean, he did not keep up with us when you hammered it the first time, but he came up pretty hot.
Well, then again, when you're hitting it, you don't want to be looking in your mirrors.
No, that's true.
Well,
I
actually,
was
no,
watching
before
for
you do, you do.
You should
So,
check your mirrors before you hammer it. I was keeping an eye on him the whole time, thankfully.
That's what a passenger's for.
That's what I'm here for.
You're also here to make sure we don't die.
That's true, too. Make sure you don't run off with the car. Now that I know you, I don't think I see that happening, thankfully.
Yay, I made an impression.
Ah, I think I know who this is.
Is this your customer?
I think this is the next customer. You can just park it right next to the rail.
The rail? Oh.
Yep.
I'm like, what kind of car is a rail?
You know, the rail.
Yeah.
You know,
it handles
rail.
like it's on rails.
Yeah, It's the rail.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. It doesn't sound like it's not a train thing.
But thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please stay tuned for future videos, hopefully with Aston Martin. And have a great day.
Yeah.
Contact Ben if you want to buy the car. It is
Give
for
us a
sale.
call. This one is for sale.